Hey YouTube, everybody, welcome to my channel, Lift and Drive, channel dedicated to you, talking about motorsports, cars, motorcycles, and working out. So today we're going to be talking about cold air intakes. Do you need one? Do you want one? How much they cost? And really, what do they do? So for the Camaro, we're going to be installing today a K&N Cold Air Intake. A little bit on the pricey side, a little more expensive than the others. This is about $680, $690, brand new. Carbon fiber, big old intake from K&N, big old filter, dry filter type. We're going to do the installation and then see how it sounds. So here we have our LT4 6.2 liter supercharged V8 engine, shared by the Camaro ZL1, the Corvette Z06, and the Cadillac CTS-V. Here's the stock intake. It's enclosed, it's boxed, MAF sensor going into the throttle body. Doesn't look terrible, actually does a fantastic job. From all the dyno results that everybody's seen, some cold air intakes don't even do an increase in horsepower or torque. I'm not going to drop any names, but that's based on independent results and tests done by other people on several of the forums. What we're going to do though is we're going to replace this with the K&N model that you showed you earlier. We're going to do a startup, see what it sounds like stock, and then see what it sounds like after the K&N is installed. So opening the box here, let's see what we got. Carbon fiber tube 1, bung on it. It says K&N pretty nicely here on the side. Two simple connection points here. Flat nose screwdriver, tighten down on these clamps. And then the main piece here, we have K&N's take on how to seal using the hood and this sealing points here, here, and here, hood going on top of here to create an enclosed cold air intake. So this is the K&N's filter here. It's pretty big compared to stock. Once we take the stock box apart, you'll really see the difference. Again, embossed with K&N here, carbon fiber looking mount. This is very fabricy here, and some of the pictures, I wasn't sure what kind of material this was made out of, but it feels kind of, I don't know, it's slightly elastic. It'll help you squeeze on the other tube into here, but it's definitely some kind of fabric material. MAF sensor will plug into here, and another tightening down point here on this end. Lastly, we have the final tightening down point. This will be what goes against the remaining part of the tube to the throttle body. So here we're going to go ahead and do a walkthrough of installation, and we'll see how it sounds. Alright, so first, just to get things loosened up a little bit, I'm going to take my flathead screwdriver and loosen up the connection points at the throttle body and here forward near the mass air sensor. And then we have a plug here that's pretty easy to get off. It's got a little divot here. You'll press and it'll just pop off. Mass air filter itself, we're going to go ahead and disconnect from here, and this piece will actually be reattaching onto our K&N filter. So let's go ahead and knock that out. What didn't say in the instructions was you actually need a Phillips head screwdriver for this as well. Now what didn't say in the instructions was you actually need a Phillips head screwdriver for this as well. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the actual stock air filter. Pretty big chunk. I mean, that's my hand against it. So this is really a wide mouth air intake, just to begin with from stock. I mean, it's pretty massive. So that's why you see a lot of people just completely bypassing doing a cold air intake on these things altogether, because the stock one is rather good. But if you keep looking it up, and we'll talk more about it later, it's the higher horsepower applications where this really just isn't going to cut it. Stock pushing, I don't know, 519 on an automatic to 555. Some guys have read, depending on your dyno on a manual. This is fine. This is adequate. But you start talking about the 700 horsepower plus applications on these things, and that's really where you see a lot of guys switching over to the cold air intake. As you can see, it's a pretty well sealed box to begin with, and that's the actual inlet there. So what we're going to be doing is replacing this box here entirely. We're going to remove this as well, and you'll see what that looks like here in a minute. So there's 3 grommets on here. You got to pop these off. And what it doesn't mention in the instructions is there's hose clamps here as well. Alright, so comparing these two, about the same size. If you think circular diameter versus flat faced, I would argue that they're pretty much the same circumference, with maybe the K&N being a tad larger. Literally snaps right into the place of the original grommets. First, as I just demonstrated, and then worry about getting the rest of the tube into here. Now you want to make sure you have that good and sat on the throttle body and back here. So you're just going to kind of wiggle that into place until it feels like there's a good solid seal and this fabric here is stretched out. Then we're going to rotate these clamps back where they can actually be tightened easily using a flathead screwdriver. on a good solid hand tight feel. And that's a wrap. So here's the K&N Cold Air Intake installed. So that does it. That is the installation of the K&N air intake. I guess the next thing up, you got the windows down, kind of cruising through the neighborhood. So far, it doesn't appear to feel any different. No real hard pickup. We'll know once we get out onto the open road here. Move it, old lady. Definitely hear the intake draw pretty hard now compared to the stock intake. Definitely hear that big cone trying to suck in air. We're gonna get a much nicer sound here. Turn the air conditioner off. Get a nicer sound here when we really punch it. As far as power, maybe a little bit. Seat in the pants feel on torque. Might be just placebo effect. New cool fancy item. Might actually be doing some good. Won't really know until we hit the track or get a dyno run on this first the base. But for now, I don't know. It's a little pricey. $689 for just an intake. It looks nice, but really, so far, maybe a placebo effect, seat of my pants. Certainly better appearance in the engine bay. Much louder supercharger whine. Can definitely hear that intake cone suck air pretty hard at idle, just giving it some gas. But we will see in a future video if we can get some hard numbers on here and give it a better review. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button at the bottom. And if you're from RotoFab, K&N, Vengeance Racing, or Weapon X, I would love to have your intake sent to my house, and we can go ahead and do a big comparison video and really see who's got the best item out there. Catch you later.